transfer portal spinning. I don't want to act like this is a gigantic loss for NC State, but one of their big guys, Musa Sagna, hit the portal in the last 24 hours. Likely a situation where, maybe some honest conversations were had on both sides, and they decided to part ways.
Yeah, it's very telling that a team that is kind of not desperate for, because it's still early in the cycle, but a team that is going to need to flesh out the bigs on the roster is willing to let a 7-foot guy go along the way, or maybe not make the pitch to have him stay.
Or not, come up with the funds required. But I size is a factor for NC State, and we'll talk about it. Also, the other news, and this isn't necessarily portal news, but it's preempting the portal news. Caden Boozer made it known today at noon. Duke put out all of the graphics and the hype videos that he will be returning to Duke next year. So the I think fairly obvious, the redemption arc begins based on how their season ended in the Elite Eight, with him making the turnover that led to the UConn buzzer beater game winner, and now he is returning to Duke. I think many believed that he would go back to college. Some believed there may have been Miami in the mix. He's from Miami. There's some coaching connections there. Coming back to Duke, I think, is a mature and kind of defiant stance by him to, try to make it right, or try to end this season better than the last one did. So that's the news there. I thought right now what we would do, because none of the three in the triangle, whether it's State, who you brought up, with the size, whether it's Duke with retaining or UNC, have made massive splashes in the transfer portal yet. Player here or there has been acquired, but not anything of huge volume or huge noteworthiness. So I thought we'd go through each and kind of just put a to-do list. And it's a one thing to-do list. A top priority list might be the way to describe it. And we'll start with NC State because of what Sagnia represented and how I think it becomes the main focus. I think they need true post size. And not only is it it's almost ironic that the departure happened today from one of their biggest guys, but I think it's what Will Wade missed, right? Because when you do have to build an entire roster in the portal, and they did last year and they pretty much will this year, it's tempting to just go out and grab, maybe the 8 best players you can possibly grab and then figure out how to put the roster together. But I think what they learned this past year is if you don't have the necessary size, particularly down low, rim protection, rebounding, dirty work, strength, you can get bullied by worse players. You can get bullied. You can, the most dependable thing in sports right now is college basketball. Size gets you the easy ones. And if you look at the Final Four, if you look at the, Ken Pom top 5 teams or whatever, they're all bringing size to the table. Michigan was gigantic. UConn was surprisingly small amongst the Final Four and still a well above average height team. Arizona, gigantic. Illinois, very big. Duke, gigantic. All right, and they were in the top of most things, regular season analytics, which is why I bring them into the equation. And NC State, for long stretches, the tallest guy on their team would have been Van Allen Lubin. Not on the team. Tallest guy on the floor, I should say, was Van Allen Lubin.
Somewhat ironically, they ended up with similar issues that Carolina had the year before, where Lubin was a big part of their front court, where they just didn't have a ton of positional size. And it kind of came back to bite them because, especially in terms of rebounding numbers, they were getting beat, especially on the offensive glass. It was a bit of a struggle. So there's no doubt picking up a post player in the portal is going to be a big emphasis for Justin Gainey here moving forward.
And I'm not even going to say post player. I'm going to say post players, right? You can have Christian Hammond, the guy they brought in from Santa Clara. You can have your shooters. You can have your Darion Williams types like they had last year. But you need multiple guys that can guard and defend the rim and rebound. And that'll just raise your floor, which is so important in the first year of a new coach, raising your floor. For Carolina, this is it's a yes-no. You have to find out whether it's positive or negative, whatever. You have to find out what the deal with Henry Vasar is. That's priority number one. And I'm not even saying like you have to get a you're in or you're out. You got to talk to him. You got to get some percentage points. Because whether Vesar or is coming back or not completely changes what you have to do. It completely changes how much money you have to spend. It completely changes the types of players you're looking for, right? Because if you have a 7-footer that can do the things that Henry Vesar can do, you need to then build your entire roster around complementing him, right? You need size on the perimeter. You need shooting on the perimeter. You need to provide spacing. You need somebody to be a pick and roll pair with him, which I do think Avdalis, who they brought in from Virginia Tech, can be. But if both of those guys are there running the pick and roll, you need even more shooters. You do need somebody, I believe, that can be a post defender that can take Vesar and put him in a less high-leverage defensive spot. And then if you expect Vesar to be gone, that completely changes everything because now you're similar to State in that you need size, you need size, you need size. You saw over the last 2 years what an important front court does. 2 years ago, Van Allen Lubin, oftentimes the quote-unquote biggest player on the floor, and you got bullied. This past year, you had Vesar and Caleb Williams, and when you had both of them, you were a really good basketball team. And then there's Duke, and obviously Caden Boozer plays into this. It's retain for Duke. We're finally starting to hear like at least some rumors of John Shire flying across the country to meet with this transfer or that transfer, and nothing super reported, so I won't put names on it. But I don't retain. I don't think you're going to find guys that fit your system better than Adame Sarr, than a Isaiah Evans if you can pull that off, a Patrick Gungba if you can pull that off. My question, as soon as I saw the Caden Boozer announcement, was, how many more of these graphics that say like returning or back or unfinished business does Duke have ready to announce over the next couple of days? Because let's put the options out there. Cam Boozer, let's say he's gone, right? Let's not, pretend.
Pretty safe assumption there.
Let's not pretend that fantasies can become reality. But other than that, if you tell me Gungba, Sarr, Evans, if you can get those three back, you have like the best portal class in the country. Now that none of them are technically portal, but if they're on the fence and you can get them back with a little extra NIL money, a little extra whatever, then that becomes your biggest priority. Now, if one of those guys leaves, you probably do have to hit the portal for a veteran. If two of those guys leaves, you probably have to hit the portal for a stud. And I like their freshman recruiting class. I've told you, if you haven't done it yet, you need to. Go look up, Cameron Williams, their 7-footer from Texas that's committed this past year. He's one of those next evolution of the game guys. He's gigantic. He can dribble. He can shoot. He can handle like a guard. I don't know if that's how they'll use him, but in high school, his highlight film is crazy. Theron Rippey. They have guys coming in, but what have we learned the past couple of years with Duke? You probably want the ball in a couple veterans' hands at the end of particularly an Elite Eight or a Final Four game that's coming down to one possession. As great and as talented as the freshmen that you bring in are, they're still freshmen. So, yeah, I think retain is the number one thing to do with Duke. And then, if that answer is negative, if you end up getting a no, they're going to take off, then you need to pivot to the portal in a big way. And as everybody knows, Duke has the money, right? Duke can go splash the pot a little bit, get some of the guys they want. But I don't think they need them if 3-4 of those guys coming back are coming back. And again, assuming Cameron Boozer is gone. And I think that's a fair assumption.